Y'all, you're back. I'm your host, Paco. You're listening to Occupy the Media here in our final segment. Don't forget, I'm on every day. Be back on tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 10 to 12 noon Eastern Time and 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time as well. So we've been talking about a bunch of headlines. You know, one thing I want to mention and bring up here is how our military men get treated, our veterans, get treated by our government, but in this country. Here we're going to play this clip real quick from CBS News. Marines seek benefits over contaminated water. Can't even get clean water to our military.
Boot camp graduation picture.
Where's you?
My God, there I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frank Rakowitz served 26 years in the Marines. He was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina between 1977 and 1986, when the water on base was toxic. Rakowitz now has stage 4 kidney cancer.
In what ways did you think you were exposed?
Well, took showers aboard the base, drank water aboard the base on a daily basis, so it was obvious to me I was a prime candidate for someone who had been, poisoned by the drinking water aboard Camp Lejeune.
Fuel and chemicals had seeped into Camp Lejeune's primary water system for 30 years. The Navy shut down the wells in 1987. Multiple environmental studies by the Navy, EPA, and Congress have concluded the water was highly contaminated. Chemicals like benzene, PCE, and TCE were as high as 280 times the level considered healthy. The Federal Agency for Toxic Substances says those chemicals can cause leukemia, bladder, kidney, and breast cancer.
What's the status of the cancer now?
Right now, I have incurable, inoperable cancer. I'm terminal.
Rakowitz filed a claim with the Veterans Administration to designate his cancer as a service-related illness. That would provide his wife, Ruth, with an extra $1,100 a month in survivor benefits.
And I want to make sure she's taken care of when I'm gone.
And that's the number one worry.
That's my number one worry.
The VA has denied 75% of these claims. 1,200 more cases are pending. No one with a VA would go on camera. But a department statement said scientific and clinical evidence is not sufficient to establish a presumptive association between service at Camp Lejeune and any subsequent development of particular diseases.
The doctor who told me I was terminal in November said without a doubt that this is what caused your cancer. He was convinced, and he wrote me the linking letter.
The letter that linked Rakowitz's cancer to his exposure at Camp Lejeune convinced the VA. On February 22nd, his claim was approved, but he worries about sick Marines still waiting.
You would like to think that their number one priority would be taking care of the troops, and that's what I always believed happened.
Congressional reports estimate Frank Rakowitz was one of nearly 1 million Marines and their family members who drank Camp Lejeune's toxic water. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Yeah, how many did he say? I didn't even catch that. So many of them drinking toxic water. This is how we're taking care of our military. But those of us that want to bring them home, spend more money on the veterans, taking care of them, we're against the troops, though, because we don't want to win. It's amazing, man. It's sad. I can't believe this. He got his benefits. How many more out there haven't got theirs yet? And it doesn't even matter. They shouldn't be getting poisoned in the first place. And the government, they said they don't want to come on air. They don't want to talk. Of course. Let's not plaster that everywhere. The media won't dare do that. They ain't going to talk about it no more. Also, speaking about military, man, New Shelter helps rising number of homeless female veterans. 4 years ago, Veronica Witherspoon was stationed in Baghdad, enduring roiling sandstorms and nearly daily rocket fire as she worked as a Navy petty officer at Camp Victory. By January, she had left the military, lost her job as a civilian contractor, split with her husband, and ended up virtually homeless, bunking with family members. Deeply ashamed of her predicament and desperate for a way out, she ran across a story on a military website about a new program for female veterans called Final Salute. Let's see here. It says here, in recent years, the Department of Veterans Affairs has made strides in a campaign to end veteran homelessness by 2015. Although the overall number of homeless veterans declined 12% between 2010 and 2011, the number of homeless female veterans is increasing. The VA said in a draft report this month, women are the fast-growing segment of the homeless veteran population. Quote, the increase of homeless women veterans is significant, and it does suggest that we have to address this as an emerging issue, said John Driscoll, president and chief executive of the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans. You know, but the people that make all these millions of dollars on these wars, they don't fight, they don't send their kids to fight, and they're taken care of. They don't lose anything, no matter what. And you know what? When the economy's bad and things are doing worse, they don't do bad. They do even better. The bankers, the military-industrial complex, they do even better. People involved with Blackwater, Halliburton, all that, they do even better. But the people over there risking their lives, look what happens to us. Drinking contaminated water, chances you can be homeless. My friend dropped out of the military because after 2 wars in Iraq because he didn't agree with it. Guess what? Couldn't find work, had to go back, move in with his parents. That's how real it gets out here, and it's so messed up. You can go fight these wars, but you could be right on the streets the next day like nothing. No one ever knew who you were because they don't care about you. Now, anyways, I'm going to run through the headlines real quick. If you guys missed it, we got a few more minutes just to give you guys an update so you guys can check them out. If you missed it, you guys talked about all these on the podcast. Go to ronpaulradio.com, scroll down. You can click on my shows from earlier and catch all the headlines. But just real quickly before we run out of time, the Brad blog. Paul supporters are robbed at county convention in Georgia, but they win some justice against establishment GOP. Some delegates that were chosen illegally. It looks like it was overturned, and they're not going to be seated at the convention, so that's in our favor because they cheated by getting those delegates. Also at the Brad blog, GOP in California hired a professional con artist who turned in thousands of fraudulent voter registrations and $50,000 bounty scheme. Let's see here. At Newser.com, Romney to clinch the nomination today. Washington Post, Mitt Romney to officially clinch the GOP nomination Tuesday, so get ready for it. They're about to claim him the nominee officially today after the Texas primary. Don't forget to go out and vote if you haven't. If you're in Texas or if you know someone, make sure you tell them to go vote. Also, we played a clip earlier this morning of Ron Paul. Someone interviewed him and asked him about the voting system, and he did say we need paper ballots. The people will never be satisfied by the results unless there's a paper trail, and I agree. Ron Paul stuns voters with voting system on YouTube. Ron Paul stuns voters with voting system. Also on CBS News, Rudy Giuliani downplays old claim that his record on jobs is better than Romney's. You know, it's so funny. Obama, all he has to do is go back to Giuliani, McCain, all these people back in 2008 and listen to them all bash Mitt Romney, talk bad about Mitt Romney, and that's all he needs to beat him. Well, they don't be bashing Ron Paul. He can't do that about Ron Paul because they ain't got nothing bad to say about Ron Paul. They know they can't. They better not touch him. Horrible article written on Ron Paul. A fade or revolutionary? Ron Paul, a fade or revolutionary? Washington Times Communities. A bunch of lies written about us supporters and how we're not changing or reforming the system. It's amazing how they talk about us. You guys can check that out. Respawn. Let her know how you feel. No photo, no problem. NATO to ban its Afghan forces from taking war zone pics. NATO to ban its Afghan forces from taking war zone pics. Chicago police want their money for working during NATO summit. So the police department, they don't even want to pay their police officers the amount of money they're supposed to be paid for working all those days at the NATO summit. That's how you tell police officers, you see? They don't care about you guys either. We're all in this together. Irish Times. Bad debt bank should go bankrupt. A quote from Max Kaiser. It's not capitalism if you're getting bailed out. That's at the Irish Times. Also, Massachusetts GOP moves to invalidate caucus ballots. This is at Boston.com. Massachusetts GOP moves to invalidate caucus ballots. Press TV occupiers to protest crackdown during NATO Chicago summit. Let's see here. UPI.com interviews Robin Corner, founder of the Blue Republican Movement. That's at Daily Paul. Also at thehill.com, House to examine plan for United Nations to regulate the internet. Yes, the United Nations internationally to regulate the internet. A bunch of countries jumping on board. We love it. NewsOK.com, great little piece. Oklahoma Republican convention results should be disallowed. NaturalNews.com, not a single Democrat voted in favor of ending FDA raids on raw milk farmers. Yes, none of them care about you, the right or the left. More than 110,000 U.S. soldiers remain on antidepressants. And Libertarian Review Defense Department seeks legal authority to deploy reservists onto American streets. Did you guys hear this? A U.S. terror strikes kills 31 people in Yemen in 72 hours, one of our drone strikes. And we wonder why they want to kill us. 31 people we killed in 72 hours. Anyways, I'll be back on tomorrow.